we're back on the street with your Frontier Opening Bell, Tuesday, the 16th of July. Welcome, everyone, to the show. I'm Bosun Namafai, of course. Let's get on, hit the ground running. How did we finish off across those markets we cover for you on a daily basis? The Nigerian market was better by 0.3%. Monday to start the new week, the market was big upside in the banking sector, 1.2%. The shares of FBN Holdings, Zenith Bank, JITCO doing a public offer which opened yesterday, Monday, also climbed on the trading board. Then you've got non-banking names like Dangote Sugar, as well as MTN, bringing further upside to the Nigerian market. Now, the market looks to be chasing 100,000 reading all over again. You've got a couple of downside on Monday. Nigerian Brewery is the largest brewer, the third largest brewer by market cap. That's international. Breweries were down. Then you've got Lafarge Africa also shedding some weight when the market finished. Broadly speaking, we added 160 billion naira in local currency. The net transaction value around 4.7 million in US dollar terms. Look at the BRVM, Orange Telecom of Burkina Faso and BIBC and a few other names lifted a composite in Cote d'Ivoire by 0.4%. That's the market in West Africa, French-speaking as it were. Then you've got the EGX30 starting the week 0.32% in the red. The Nairobi stock market started off the week at 0.1% in the green territory, while the GSE moved up 0.57%. You've got big banking names such as Capitex and First Rand trading billions in Rand. Yesterday, those two banks accounted for about roughly 3 billion Rand of total transaction value on the GSE. The banks, the financial services were most actively traded in guard industrials as well as the resources index. In Zimbabwe, the stock market also finished very strongly to the upside, led by materials, the ICT, as well as the financial services company. Let's take that down. Let's look up to East Africa. Broadly speaking, what's making the headlines to start the new week? Tanzania is now asking all public institutions to start publishing their financials. It's part of the transparency that President Samia Suluhu Hassan is bringing to the table. All public institutions will got to make their financial statements public at the end of the year. That's a good way to go. They've got a competition authority in Kenya has approved the CFAO Motors Kenya making investments in the vehicle manufacturing company limited of Kenya as well. That has been approved by the authorities. In the meantime, the Kenya's EPRA, which is the Energy Regulatory Agency, has raised the road maintenance that Kenyans will pay the levy to take care of the roads being built by 7 shillings to 25. That's going to be a little bit tough there with the folks still protesting the details of the Finance Act, which resulted in protests and the death of about 30 people recently in East Africa's biggest economy. In the meantime, Bamburi Cement of Kenya says it's protecting the deal from Armstrong's Holdings of Tanzania by putting about 650 or 680 million shillings fee on the table. Let's check in with West Africa. The Nigeria's inflation came into yesterday, 34.19%. That's hitting the bullseye. That's the highest since the month of March, and of course, a new high as far as the data is concerned. Also for food prices, food inflation, 40.87%. 3 of Nigerian states were among the top, where inflation is heading towards 50% as we speak. Urban inflation went up. Rural inflation was also on the upside. Core inflation also moved up. On a month-on-month basis, Nigeria posted 2.3% between May and June. The country is reeling right now under food inflation, with massive food importation being approved by Mr. President and his cabinet. Yesterday, the presidency says at least 20 trucks of grains or rice, to be specific, has been dispatched across the 36 states of the Federation. 20 trucks for each state. Multiply that by 36 states plus the Federal Capital Territory, you have an idea of the massive importation that Nigeria is looking at or doing right now over the next 180 days. Head of the AFDB, Nigerian born Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, said the country should step back and look very critically at how to support its own local food production rather than going massive food import for 200 million people. In the meantime, the Naira extends its weakness against the US dollar slipping to the weakest level since the month of March. Yesterday, the Naira fell on the dollar, bringing the total decline on the American greenback to about 5% since the 1st of July. In the meantime, the central bank yesterday sold $122.67 million into the FX market, sidelining the Bureau of Change, sold to about 46 market authorized dealers, essentially the commercial banks. The whole idea is to stem the tide of the fall of the Naira against the US dollar, which we've seen steadily at the official window, which is in Apex, by the way. Naira is now heading towards 1,600 on the US dollar. And Ghana's Minister of Finance is going to present the country's mid-year budget on July 23rd. Keep an eye on that next week. And Liberia showcased the country's oil and gas projects at the African Energy Chamber's London Investments Roadshow, which was held late last week. Liberia is looking for investments into this hydrocarbon emerging sector in West Africa. Let's take it up. Look at Southern Africa. And of course, you've got some of the biggest headlines coming from the GSE. The GSE South Africa market finished still strongly yesterday, despite news that Bell Equipment, which sells tractors and a few other durable goods products, will be doing a delisting from the GSE. There's a 45% upside to the share price yesterday. The delisting news is that 56 Rand is what will be paid to shareholders of the company. In a similar vein, SASFIN, the financial services company, is also to delist from the GSE, is offering minority shareholders some 30 Rand per share and saying thank you. That's a parting shot, the handshake with the SASFIN shareholders. In Zimbabwe, a state mining company is looking for $150 million to boost gold outputs. The word from the government in Zimbabwe was that every mining company should bring more gold to the table to rev up the reserve that's needed to support the new currency, the ZiG, which was floated just about 2 months ago. And the Chinese company Jiaxin Copper says it set up a $10 million cable factory in Zambia's Chimbombo region. And finally, in Southern Africa, Zimbabweans are taking up more funeral assurances as part of their package. That's accounting for about 66% of the total life insurance in the Southern African country. That's your headlines there in southern part of the continent. Let's take it all the way to the north and just look at a couple of headlines as we get Tuesday up and running. The Norway subsidiary of the Norway Now says it gets mortgage license from Egypt's FRA, that's a financial regulatory authority, while the Golden View has announced about 4 billion Egyptian pound mixed-use project in the country's new Cairo. And Moroccan transport companies are looking to dominate the Spanish market. Remember, the highway between Morocco and Spain. Now, that's transport business along that route and highway, which has also been expanded and been upgraded. The Moroccan says they want to dominate that. And finally, Libya's national oil company started oil flow out of the Melita ports, one of the oil flow stations in the North African economy. Those are your headlines. We've got a couple of other headlines for you today because we've got the World Economic Outlook report out of the IMF that's been released 9 a.m. Eastern time today. Keep that in mind. The International Energy Agency is also released today's third quarter gas market report, globally speaking. You can read that up as well, and a few others grabbing the headlines. Those are your headlines out of your Frontier Opening Bell. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now, and see you again tomorrow, Wednesday.